Hi everyone, my name is Jeremy Wilcox and I'm a tour guide in the city of New York. I grew up in Queens, so one of my favorite places to show people and one of the tours that I offer is Flushing Meadows Corona Park in central Queens. Flushing Meadows Corona was the host of two World's Fairs, both in 1939 and 1964 through 1965. Both of these World Fairs were not only huge world events, but radically changed the way Queens was laid out in terms of its roads, its parks, and its culture. We're going to take a look around. So right behind me is the Unisphere, which is one of the few remnants left from the World's Fair. Most of the World's Fair artifacts were torn down. If you explore this park, you can see lots of little treasures left behind, from the big to the small. Looking down this way, you can see another statue that remains of the World's Fair. These fountains have been empty for years, but all along this pathway was once exhibits and pavilions for the World's Fair. Behind me, you can see the remains of the New York State Pavilion. These two towers here you'll probably recognize from the 1997 film Men in Black, and it was the site of the final battle in the film where Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones defend the city from an evil bug creature inhabited by Vincent D'Onofrio. Today, there's a lot of effort made by locals who want to not only preserve this pavilion, but figure out rebuilding it, repainting it, and try and repurpose it in a way that still can be used by the people of Queens. We'll keep walking. Behind this fountain is the Queens Museum, which was first a site during the World's Fair, but later became the original home of the General Assembly of the United Nations, which made sense because Queens is often known as the World Borough. Obviously, the United Nations later repurposed the General Assembly and moved it to the east side of Manhattan, where their current headquarters were built, and the building is now turned into a museum. At 897 acres, Flushing Meadows Corona Park is New York City's fourth largest park in overall acreage. Behind me is the former New York State Pavilion that we were talking about earlier. Now, as you can see, the pavilion itself, the outside was repainted, but the inside has been left to decay. There have been contests and public projects trying to find a way to fully restore this and to turn it into something that people can use year-round. A lot of stuff in New York City that's become very popular, Brooklyn Bridge Park and the High Line, have been made by repurposing abandoned things, and a lot of people are trying to figure out how we can do the same with this, because it is in this huge park, it's beautiful, it is a pre-existing structure. Also in Flushing Meadows Park is a lot of sports and sports history. On the far end of Flushing Meadows, past the Unisphere, are two stadiums that you have for sure heard of. One is the Billie Jean King National Tennis Center, which is home to the US Open. Former home to the US Open lies not too far from here in Forest Hills, the Forest Hills Tennis Stadium, which is currently housing concerts. Just past the tennis stadium is Citi Field, the current home of the New York Mets, and also the site of the now demolished Shea Stadium, the original home of the New York Mets. Flushing Meadows is housed in a neighborhood known as Corona, which is one of Queens' largest Hispanic populations, and is home to the famous Lemon Ice Cream. If you take this tour, we not only explore the entire park, going over the entire history of both World's Fairs, how it changed Queens, how it changed the culture and landscape of New York City, but we'll also visit the museum, its famous panorama, stop for some lemon ice when we're done.